Hey folks, there's another video on my old phone, my old phone. Anyways, this is how I'm reacting to revolutionary blackout and their reaction to the CNN poll for Biden. And they're saying that the devastating poll, I think he's losing the tide with Trump. And cut out the first part of the video, but I want to do this because he said he hadn't made a list and reason not to vote for Biden. He made out 10 or 20 reasons why not to vote for Biden. Here it is. It's gonna go up. I'll give you a little taste of what this is. He's gonna go into it a little bit, and then I'm gonna show you the reasons he has.
Compared to Trump, only 3 years younger, Nick, he literally had 20 points or less, 20 points more less. So Biden is like in the 70 percentile. As far as age, like I got a concern for health. And then Trump is like in the 50s or
and you saw Warren Joe coverage of this. They was like, how can America be so dumb? They say they are upset about Biden's age, but Trump is only 3-4 years younger. Fam. There was a Trump rally the other day where this motherfucker gave a 1 hour speech, and then there was like a 20-minute segment of it where he went straight up off teleprompter. And CJ, the only reason I know this because the liberal media was reporting on it, and they would use it to talk about how unhinged Trump was. They're like, hey, here Trump off the cuff for 15-20 minutes. He talks his teleprompter. Trump is so crazy. But can you guys imagine Biden speaking for 2 minutes without a teleprompter? Trump
2 hours.
An hour speech and like a third of it was him just ripping. So
yeah, he could do 2 minutes without
age,
maybe.
It's mental acuity. It's how sharp you are. So that's why they use age as a way to fill.
In 5 minutes, he couldn't do.
But I will also say, and you mentioned this being on RBN, you guys realize that age criticism is the best thing to happen to Biden. The best possible thing that could happen to Biden is Americans being concerned about his age. Why do you think CNN covered it all the time? Why do you think MSNBC is covered all the time? The number one thing they want is for people to think that the number one criticism of Joe Biden is his age. That's why they go to it. Look at these ages, Gen Z, millennial. Look at these people that are just ages against the boomers. You guys know they're making it's all about age war. But I told you guys many times, that's the least of our concern regarding Joe. And I put this list together. I told you, CJ, I was going to update this list here soon.
Okay.
Yeah. Because when we talk about Joe Biden, and this is a mini segment, when we talk about Joe Biden, we talk about all the evils of Biden. Like, you lose track of it. And I think it's important to go through this before the Crystal and Cal debate with Brown and George Gray. You can see how ridiculous it is for anyone who considers them.
This is from a week ago, before the Crystal Cal and the Brianna Joe Gray debate. Or this is around that time, actually. Around that time of the debate. So this is all this came from. And this is I guess they released this segment. And this is from their live stream, but they made this into a video, a segment. And these guys did, okay.
Himself to be part of Bernie Sanders left to apologize for this guy. So, if you guys be patient with me, I'm gonna lead out this list. I typed this list. I woke up early like I always do. I'm a grandpa. I always wake up early. So I was twisting and turning in my bed. I was seeing the debate. A lot of the Bernie Sanders Democrat left battling with a real radical.
We know he has kids. He's a grandpa. Oh, he didn't have kids. Oh, real. Yeah, you should, I guess.
Third party revolutionary left. And they was talking about fucking nonsense when it comes to voting for Joe Biden. What happened to being an advocate of human rights?
Okay, I want to go through the list. The video is going to end soon, folks. Reason not to vote for Biden: Nord Stream pipeline bomber plane, biggest ego terrorist in the human history. That actually happened. I agree with that. Approve the Willow Project. This is more drilling. That's what this is. Broke the rail strike. He went against the union. And they forced him back to vote. The government put him in the Congress. Forced him back to vote. Forced him back to work, sorry. Gave federal contracts to non-union busters. Wow. Gave federal contracts to union busters. Yeah, see, people in the union, they lead the union leadership. Some corruption there going on. So I agree with that. That's probably true, most likely. And give federal contracts to union, but send COVID-19 relief money to police. Yep, I believe that. That's terrible. And plus other businesses too. Not just the police, but other businesses. They shouldn't. I forgot the name of the bill, but they gave money to COVID-19 relief. Really don't need it. I think they're supposed to pay it back, and they didn't. So they didn't pay back the money or something. Fund ICE to record levels, and that's true. More than Trump. I heard there's maybe more than Trump and Obama, and I think he's more deportations than Trump and Obama. I think there's another thing: illegal pressure in social media companies to crack down on free speech. He's saying about the Ukraine. Let me see if he says. I don't believe that, but he said on the Ukraine. Maybe that's right. I believe that.
What happened to being an advocate for peace? So you bring up all, and this is what Crystal and Cal did all the time, a little bit spoiler. From the little bit I saw, they will bring up, well, do you know Joe Biden did this? Cal was like, no, why don't you guys give Biden enough credit? What Biden did is completely irrelevant. The bills he passed are completely irrelevant because this is the evil as human rights advocates that we should fight against. Crystal and Cal, Bernie Sanders, AOC, Ilhan Omar, the entire Bernie media industrial complex, they are weak on corruption. Can you guys repeat after me? Because I've been seeing a lot of people go back and forth with these people. That's all you have to say. Crystal, Cal, Bree, this is what you should have said to these people. You guys are weak on corruption. At what point do we accept corruption as an acceptable flawed trait? Cal people like, yeah, you guys got some interest in Biden. Yeah, you guys are a little bit concerned about corruption. No, that's the fucking thing. So what I would say, like, hey, I understand that you weak on corruption, but I care about corruption. I know that, Cal, you're weak on war crimes, you're weak on imperialism, but I care. I really want you guys to adopt that term. Because I have, and that, it freaks them out because you're calling them out on their lack of moral consistency, right? So I see you, Nico. I'm going to bring you in here after this. I would love to get your take on this. But I'm going to read this out. This is the reasons why you don't vote for Joe Biden. He's a Nord Stream pipeline bomber, the biggest eco-terrorist in human history. And I'm going to go through each one of these fast. Proved at the Willow Project, broke the rail strike, gave federal contract to union busters, sent COVID-19 relief to the police, funded ICE to record levels, $6 billion more than Trump. You guys know RBN is like the only channel that reports on that, by the way. Illegally pressuring social media companies to crack down on free speech, fighting proxy war with Russia by sending weapons to Nazis in Ukraine, stealing billions from Afghanistan, starving their people. We're going to get to that soon, because you guys see that Cal loves to give Biden credit for Afghanistan. So hold that thought. Absolutely unhinged China policy. And CJ, I typed absolutely unhinged China policy because I didn't know how to describe it. And like one
it's so much.
Like, there's so much to say on China. I'm like, all right, I'm going to say he's unhinged. You guys get it. But you can literally make like 10 bullet points out of this one alone. But I didn't want to pad the list. I was like, all right, let's keep it simple. Let's move on. Send weapons to Taiwan. Sent nuclear submarines to Australia. I want to add, he also sent nuclear submarines to South Korea. Big shout out to Didi, my friend.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until she said that to me. So, you know, he did this too. I'm like, what? How did I miss that? But that's another thing that I'm going to start mentioning. He sent nuclear submarines to South Korea. Fucking psychopath. The Hunter Biden pay-to-play corruption. I got this far before the list. I got this far into the list before I even mentioned Hunter Biden, by the way. Hiring Aaron Tandon as the White House domestic policy advisor, hiring Anthony Blinken, hiring Lloyd Austin. I also had hiring Elliot Abrams. I forgot that at the time. Full-fledged support of genocidal state of Israel. Pushing the privatization of water. I just covered that in the hotspot video. His insulting Maui response said he will veto Medicare for all, and most importantly, Kamala Harris may be president. Well, I want you guys to understand that if you take just one of these things, that would be enough for me not to vote for him. I'll include a few more that some people remind me of. He stole Iranian and Syrian oil. I'm going to cover that soon.
Mm-hmm.
Escalated the Cuban embargo. You had Cuba that literally said that no one is enforcing the Cuban embargo harder than the Joe Biden administration.
Wow.
Actively trying to kill Julian Assange. Bomb Somalia. Cut SNAP benefits.
I think Julian saw. Yeah, okay, you're right.
And hired Victoria.
But Trump did that too. He kind of, I see Trump went after Julian Assange actually. Started from Trump. Then he just continued all of these, like some of these are continuing Trump's policies actually, or even getting worse. So all these are, some of these are Trump's policies. I mean, this is all this is.
Doing. But according to Kyle and Crystal, we have something.
But anyways, let's go back. Okay, here. So where was I? So that's where he laid down all these points. He didn't mention I guess it's further in the video, he mentioned YouTube. What I was talking, he mentioned this, illegal pressure in social media. So he said he said suppressing opposition on the Ukraine war. That's what he's saying when he's talking about this. Illegal pressure in social media companies to crack down on free speech. So he's talking about this. So I believe that. All this stuff I believe. Fighting proxy war with Russia by sending weapons to Nazi Ukraine. Yeah, that's a nuance. This is nuance. Okay, they send weapons to Ukraine. I think they believe that in the sovereign state of Ukraine, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, but he's right. There's Nazis in Ukraine. And they're taking over Kalinski. They threatened Kalinski. That's why this war started. Because the Nazis, they had an agreement, Minsk agreement, and what's his name? Kalinski, the Ukraine president, wanted to, he didn't enforce it because he was threatened by the Nazis. So that's why there's a war. So Russia, they agreed to the peace. It would have been a settlement after 2014. Then he took over Crimea, Russia. So it would have been an agreement. So this is nuance that they're talking about. But they shouldn't give money to you. I agree with the money in Ukraine. But they could give money if they want. But if they should have the problem is, they say they don't have money for other stuff. Like the social programs they don't have money for. Or child tax credit and other things, they don't have money for that. But they have money, that's the thing with this. They could give it all they want, actually. I think they're trying to prevent, according to them, they're trying to prevent a war. They're saying that if they took over, well, they would say all this, Ukraine is just a money to, I don't know if they would say, well, some will say it's money to defense contractors. But they were about a nuclear war, but we might get it anyway. But I had my video on the left. This guy had a video, Flex Alert, how the left, how Putin fooled the left, the American left, or the Western left, he said. And he would put these guys in the conversation. Some kind of nuance on this. Russia is a threat. I know Putin it's not just NATO. They don't call me the NATO left. These guys will call me the NATO left. But I'm nuanced. But I agree, they should stop sending money to Ukraine just easily as that. If they send money, they should have money for other programs to give to the American people. And he's in war. He's pro-war, but so is Trump. So they're all the same. If Trump was in power, you still have this. Sorry. And Trump tried to start a war with Venezuela. So you still have war with any president, no matter how many presidents you have. It's American empire. You're gonna have wars. So if you're against imperialism, you gotta change. They're thinking the neocons out of there. They're on both parties and they're everywhere. So it's gonna be the same. Even if you have Trump, there's gonna be wars. So by you doing this, you're shilling for. Well, you're not shilling for Trump, but it seems like you're shilling for Trump. You're stealing billions from Afghanistan, starving people. I agree with that. That's terrible. There are sanctions. I think there's sanctions the Taliban or something. That's what it is. Absolutely unhinged China policy. I give it that. See, he continued Trump's rhetoric, kind of, on China. That's what he's done. Instead of going back, he's continuing. He's escalating the policy, Trump's policy, on China. Even if you went back to Obama, I know Obama did this and that. They say that move to China started from Obama. I think it started from Bush. It all started from Bush. Before Bush came in, there was tensions there. And when he left, Obama just continued that policy. Trump escalated, really unhinged. Told you he wanted to wanted to go to war with China eventually after the end of Trump's presidency. And China, so he would move back to, when Biden came in, he moved back to Trump's policy. Went back to Obama's policy, kind of. But he kept he kept Trump's policy on the tariffs. He kept the tariffs, some of the tariffs he kept. And this sent weapons to Taiwan. I don't know if this is true or not. This is shaky. That's what Trump wanted to do. He wanted to recognize Taiwan, actually. But he went back to the old policy. That's what Trump wanted to do. But Trump never did this, or unless maybe he did. I think he wanted to do this. But this might be true. And they actually did it. And here in St. Nuclear, this is true too. Nuclear submarines to Australia. And that's terrible there. Wow. Some kind of agreement with Australia, Japan, and they said South Korea. They mentioned that. It's like they're getting ready for a war, folks. Why would it? See? I don't know. Looks like they're speculating that there's going to be, either way, there's going to be a war. That's what it seems like. Wow. And why do this? I don't know, I don't know if Trump would do this. I mean, probably. And Biden paid the play. This is not even play what? There's no connection. This is wrong. No connection to Biden. He did some gun charges and his art. Maybe he used his name, I guess. The art. It's not even illegal. Okay, it's corrupt, but it's not illegal. Illegally, it's not illegal in that sense. Use his name, his art gallery. Use his father's name, and that's when he was this was before he was president. Biden was president. That's what they're talking about. But it's really minor. It's compared to the corruption with Jared Kushner. They don't talk about that. I mean, there's corruption there. Like once in a while, you should. I guess he's not the president. It doesn't matter. But some of these guys never talk about it. So that's why I agree with Cenk, even though he's not a real, he's not a real progressive. But in some senses he's right. They don't criticize the other side. But I agree, these guys are leftists. But there's no proof, there's no connection to Biden. I think this happened under, even if he did, there is corruption, but he doesn't tie into the presidency. This was before he was president, I think. He used his name in the art. He was the vice president. So he didn't use the presidency for this to get whatever, right? He did whatever they're talking about. This is when he was the vice president. Harry Neo Tandon as White House domestic policy, yeah, she's corrupt. Definitely. She's corrupt. Anthony Blinken, yeah, he's a neocon. So I guess hiring Lord Ashton from Raytheon as defense. No, this is common both president. Trump did the same thing. He hired a general too. Former general. Trump did the same thing. This is the thing now, they're not supposed to hire generals. More like civilians. Now they're hiring generals. That's the problem. This is the same, that's corrupt. Yeah, they're both doing it now. It's gonna be a trend. This one is full-fledged support to the genocidal state of, oh, that's a real, okay, not back in the, well, they always do that. Well, all presidency, even Trump, Clinton, they all back Israel, so there's no big deal. It's not a big thing. I mean, come on. Pushing the privatization of water, oh, this is, okay. That's terrible. Riyad Mahrez is right. Insulting Maui response is terrible. It's worse. The worst thing of them, you don't never see a Democratic president do this. Emergency response, you see Trump and Bush, yeah. Even Reagan, okay, you go back to Reagan and first Bush. They were okay, I guess. No, he didn't respond well to the riots, actually. First George Bush, the LA riots. That was a kind of bad response. But you don't see this with Democratic presidents. Normally it's a good response. Said he would veto Medicare for all. This is crazy. Why? Yeah, you're right about that. That's terrible. Oh, I can't. Look at this. I think that's, Kamala Harris could be president. Yeah. I'm not worried about that. People are worried. I think she's terrible, but I don't know. You never know. She might do good. You never mind. Because if she beats herself, when she was in the Senate, I think she was awesome. Like, she challenged people. You know what I mean? Kind of bitchy. But she's like too nice. She's like a fake plastic smile. She's doing every time, like she's fake genuine. She seems inauthentic and not genuine. But when she was in the Senate, and I don't mind this actually. So they're wrong. They're right, but if she changes maybe she'll change as a president, or hopefully. If she does. Pray that she doesn't, but anything happened to Biden, would she ever beat Trump even? I don't think the country likes her. But maybe she'll change, she'll be a different person. When she's the lead, and you're different. When you're vice president, you're not doing nothing really. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be subservient. Do stuff you give advice to the president, I guess, but except for Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney was a president when he was with Bush. That's the only thing. And like Bush listened to Dick Cheney more. So that's why that was a bad presidency. It was a Dick Cheney presidency. But anyways, folks, That's about it. Give you this points he did. Not to vote for Biden's a lot. It's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 22, 22 points. Not to vote for Biden. That's great. He's good. Some of them, but that's a good. He's right. So, folks, I'm gonna end this video. What do you think of that? Subscribe and like. I appreciate it. I'm out.